This will be our second reading of Carving Stories in Cedar, How to Make a Totem Pole by Christine F. Anderson. Remember, this is a descriptive article, and we're going to pay attention to the title, which is here, and subtitle, How to Make a Totem Pole. So already you should be thinking in your mind, okay, there's Carving Stories in Cedar, How to Make a Totem Pole. So we've read this before, so you can kind of remember the different parts mean something. Let's find out. The first time we read it, we found out what totem poles are and how they're made. Pay attention this time to captions, pay attention to subtitles, pay attention to words that help paint a picture in your mind, okay? What is a totem pole? Everyone likes to hear family stories and legends. Many tales are passed down from generation to generation. Hundreds of years ago, Native people lived along the northwest coast of the United States and Canada. They did not have a written language. These first people created a special way to tell their tales and family histories. Master carvers chose cedar trees from the forest. These trees were tall and straight, and some had red-colored bark. The carvers carved pictures into the soft wood to record family stories. They also carved poles to honor their chiefs and other important people who had died. These carvings are called totem poles. Sometimes they are called silent books. So before you move on, you're going to visualize. What words help you picture what a cedar tree looks like? So what words in this paragraph right here help you to picture in your mind what a cedar tree looks like? Don't use this picture. Use words from the text. So your answer might sound something like this. Words that help me imagine what a cedar tree looks like include, and then there's words right here that you can write down. Pause the video and answer question number 1. Okay, question number 2. We're going to use text features, and we know what text features are. Now we're going to use them to help us to understand the words. Reread the subtitle for the article. What will you look for as you read on? So if I come back here and reread the subtitle, right here tells me the subtitle is How to Make a Totem Pole. So if this is the subtitle, what will you look for as you continue to read this article? Pause the video and answer question number 2. Okay, here we go. How were the totem poles different? Each family or clan used an animal to represent them. The animal stood for something special about their culture and identity. So carvers used those animals and other family symbols to create the totem poles. The families placed the tall sculptures in front of their homes to show who lived there. They also used the poles like signs to welcome visitors to their villages. The poles helped us tell our stories, says Israel Shotridge, a Tlingit carver from Ketchikan, Alaska. They helped us preserve our culture and identity. How do you carve a totem pole? Shotridge has been carving for 20 years. He uses methods that were used in the past. Tradition is an important part of what I do, he says. Here is how Shotridge makes a totem pole. He chooses a design. So number 1, he chooses a design. Before he begins carving, Shotridge talks with the person who wants him to carve the pole. They discuss the design. Some of the poles are reproductions of old poles. Others are new designs used for business, government buildings, and schools. So get ready to pause the video because we're going to answer a couple more questions. So question number 3 on your paper. Why is tradition important to Shotridge? You're going to make an inference with text evidence for this one. So why is tradition important to Shotridge? Okay, question number 4. Steps in a process. What do you do first to carve a totem pole? What's the first step? Pause the video and answer question number 4. Okay, here we go. Number 2, he prepares the tree. Next, Shotridge finds and cuts down a tall, straight cedar tree. He sings special songs his mother, a tribal elder, taught him as he works. Then he removes the bark. He draws the designs on the wood with a special pencil. Sometimes he adds extra pieces of wood to show a bird's wings or a fish's fins. Step 3. He carves the pole. When Shotridge uses tools such as an adze and chisel to carve the design into the wood. An assistant may work with him on the larger poles, but even with help, some poles take almost a year to complete. Step 4. He paints the pole. Shotridge paints his poles in the traditional colors of red, teal, blue, and black. Early carvers made their paints from local minerals such as copper and iron mixed with salmon eggs, but Shotridge, like most modern carvers, buys his paint. So before you move on, we're going to answer question number 5. What tools does Shotridge need to make a totem pole? Pause the video and answer the question. Do not make up an answer. The answer is in the text. Okay, question number 6, steps in a process. What must Shotridge do before he starts carving? So before he starts carving, before he starts to carve the pole, he has to do something. What is it that he must do? Give me details from the text. People raise the totem pole. That's step 5. When the pole is almost finished, plans are made to raise it. Cranes lift big poles into place. The poles often weigh more than 1,000 pounds. Smaller poles are raised by hand. We usually raise poles the old-fashioned way, says Shotridge. We use lots of manpower and ropes. Number 6, everyone celebrates. When a pole is raised, the person who asked for it often has a big celebration. It is called a potlatch. Everyone feasts. Sometimes people give gifts to each other. The bigger the pole, the bigger the party. If the pole is commissioned by a clan member, guests sing songs from their family's clan. Once the pole has been raised, another silent book stands to tell the story of the people of the Northwest. Okay, you've got 2 more questions you need to answer. Number 7 is visualize. Picture yourself at a potlatch. So in your mind, think of yourself at a potlatch. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel? So make sure you answer all of those things. I see, what do you see? I hear, I smell, I taste, and I feel. Okay, question number 8, cause and effect. What are 2 ways the size of the pole can affect what happens in the last 2 steps? So what are the 2 ways that the size of the pole affects what happens in the last 2 steps? You're going to want to reread steps 5 and 6 and figure out what the pole affects something and what is that.